Okay, so welcome to part 3 of bringing this M16 into Unreal. And this part, I guess you could say, is optional because in part 2 we went over how to rig it for Unreal, which was really simple in Max. And if you wanted to do extensive rigging, such as like deformable skin and stuff like that, like you would for any character or anything like that, anything with an actual bone system. That way you can build controllers and things like that for your rig for animators to use easier. For you have to in Max you have to use dummy objects and stuff like that. But yeah, so because in each mesh using this system can only be controlled by one bone. If you were to have one mesh that was supposed to be controlled by multiple bones, you would need to use dummy objects in this different method. And in order to do this different method, right now, the geometry itself is acting as bones. And my computer is a little slow right now because I'm rendering out the last video as I'm recording this one. And I have everything else open. But I'm going to rename the body of our M16 as just M16. And I'm going to grab our trigger here and name it M16 underscore trigger. Alright, and then I'm going to break the link between these two by selecting both of these and click on link selection. And that way if I move this here, there we go, that trigger stays in the same place. So I'm going to undo this. Then I'm going to create a dummy object by going to the create new tab, under the helper tab, and clicking dummy. I'm just going to make a dummy object. Doesn't matter how big it is because the actual size is just a display thing anyway. I'm going to move that to the origin so it's pretty much where the origin of our gun was, where the pivot point of our mesh was to begin with. So I'm going to name this dummy object b underscore root, just like what we named it the mesh beforehand. And then I'm going to select our dummy object, or I want to turn our M16 into X-ray mode so it's easier to see this dummy object. And I'm going to hit Control V on this dummy object and copy it, and name it B trigger. And then I'm going to move this, some weird video glitch getting here, but I'm going to move this right above the trigger. If my computer will refresh enough. Okay. The center of the dummy is right above the trigger now. And it should be aligned in the center. There we go. Alright, so back to perspective view. Upside down. Alright, so now that we have our two dummy objects, we have to what is it? We have to take our trigger object over to skin. Now I've never really rigged that much in Max before, but there is a way to do it as one mesh and do paint weights, I guess I just found out, but I'm not sure how to do that, so just want to leave that in the field for other riggers that you would have to do this for you. Anyways, so we're going to add a skin modifier to our trigger, and then we're going to add the B trigger bone to our skin modifier. Clicking add and clicking our dummy object. And I want to click our main body here. And go to add a skin modifier to it as well. What is physique? There's no way to there's something that you can use this physique thing for rigging too, but once again, I'm not sure how that works. Maybe another tutorial in the future. Or maybe I'll have a rigger show us how to do that. Now, I'm going to add B root again here. Cool. And then I'm just going to try moving the bone and see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Now I want to grab the dummy object here, the B trigger object, and I want to select and link that just like last time. And I want to drag that to, I accidentally selected the root. Need to, there we go. And hopefully it'll grab that dummy. Nope, it grabbed the mesh. I want to select, just to make this easier, I want to select the main body. I'm going to click hide. There we go. Now I can select and link this to that without a problem. Cool. Now I need to unhide everything. Now if I select the bone object, the dummy object here, it's really hard to select. Come on. Especially when you're rendering another video. Select by name. Here we go. Now if I move this, everything should move with it. Alright. I'm going to turn off X-ray mode because that's causing some weird things to happen. Alright, so now that we have our skin modifier on both objects, and these are the bones to that skin modifier, and this bone is linked to the root bone, which you can't see anymore. There we go. We can now go to Actor X and click Scene Info, and you'll see that there are no geometry biped bones, and there are only dummy bones. And you'll see there are two geometric things, but there are two bones in the main skeleton, and everything just works. So, also, I just realized that the scene info said there's 160 frames in this animation. That's not right, so I'm just going to check a forced reference pose. That way it only exports that first frame. Yes. Now we have this here. Pretty much done. Now you can add other bones by using the skin modifier. And then with the skin modifier, you can manipulate your mesh and animate it just as how you would any other skinned modified object in Max. Not really sure what to do with that, but because I'm not a rigger or an animator, but now you can, I guess. So I guess if you can add a second bone here, and I think you edit the envelope or something, and that adjusts. That's kind of like painting weights or something. I'm not too sure on that, but that's what riggers and animators are for. So hopefully I'll get one of them to post a tutorial soon, or by soon I mean within the next month, because we have GDC coming up. So, alright, now we have this here. We can just go to, now we want to do all skin type, because we're actually using the skin modifier now. And we click Save Mesh Ref Pose, and it will say this thing's been written. So now we can import. And I'm just going to name this right over our first person. So the third person will have the geometry bones. Wow, why are there two of them? Oh, I accidentally put this in the wrong thing. Alright, so import again. Name this. There we go. So now the first person will have, yeah, as I said before, the first person will have our dummy rigged objects, or dummy rigged M16, while the third person will have the geometry. There's really no difference, but, well, there will be a difference when your bones actually do animations and things, but for now, they're pretty much identical. And you're going to have to rotate using rotation origin if it's not lined up already on the y-axis. And you should see that there's your V root, and then there's your V trigger. And this is using the dummy object. So, one material. As we went over last tutorial, if there's more than one material, you have to assign all your polygons to one material ID explicitly, even though you're not using a multi-sub object. If you are using a multi-sub object, then you already know how to do all the polygon ID setting and you'll have that set up right. Alright, so there we go. What extra mesh does? Oh, it does nothing here. Okay. Now, yeah, there is a way to have extra mesh. You can assign extra mesh and have it bind to a socket or to a bone, but we'll go into that later. So now that we have, that's how you rig a M16 with dummy objects instead. So next video will be about putting a material on it and stuff like that, I guess. So see you then.